Here's what you can do if your cruise has been cancelled. So your cruise has been cancelled and the cruise line wants you to keep calm and be patient about the situation. But how can you do that, especially when you are uncertain of the outcome? And worst of all, not only are you uncertain, but now you are left without a vacation. The first thing that comes to mind is to get upset, right? But doing this doesn't help the situation at all. So what can you actually do? This vacation you may have been planning for weeks, maybe even months. So here's what you can do in situations like these. You've got to understand your rights as a cruise passenger and everything that you are entitled to in this scenario. So let's go over a few of the things you need to know about cruise cancellations, the guidelines you can follow, and what you can do about them. This is tips from a cruise employee. So for one, your main goal is to secure another booking and make sure it's not super out of your reach and requirements. Also, make sure it is still most likely similar to your original plans. Be sure to always look out for new options. You can still have time to save your vacation by not limiting to just one thing and just one plan. One way you can do this is to transfer your booking request to another cruise of the same line. The downside to this is that this may not be the exact dream cruise you were actually looking for, and you'd most likely have to change your plans to not only suit your new vacation schedule but to also rearrange your new travel plans. But if you are still aiming to have a good time, then this should be the least of your worries. Just remember, you can still have a good time even if there are new plans in the mix. They always say, never put all your eggs into just one basket. And it's safe to say at least you wouldn't be going without a vacation regardless. So to go ahead by making new booking arrangements, you're gonna have to reach out to your booking agent, but make sure you understand the cruise line policy in transferring your bookings, as you can sometimes find yourself wasting breath. And by wasting breath, I am simply talking about trying to convince your booking agent to give you new travel arrangements. So make sure it can be done first as to the cruise line's policy. And if it can be done, then you are in totally good luck. You have saved your vacation plans. But this is not always the case though. Generally, if a cruise line is overbooked on one of its vessels, it is more likely it will be overbooked for majority of its fleet. So what is the next step in handling cruise cancellations? Well, you could always ask for a refund, as you are actually entitled to this plus more. Many times the cruise line will try to convince you into not going for refunds and even try to pencil you in for a cruise at some later point. But it is in your absolute rights to ask for a refund, especially if you feel like a new cruise will not be suitable for you. So just like the option to transfer your bookings, asking for a refund should give you additional benefits as well, as the cancellations are not due to your own fault. So you shouldn't feel overwhelmed and worried at this point. In addition to this, you should also receive additional perks upon cruise cancellations, and these may include a variety of things such as onboard credit, upgraded suites, plus more. Just remember that each cruise line policy is way different, and you may find yourself comparing apples to oranges in some cases. So you should always ask about the additional perks with your booking agent first, and then work to find some settlement that you will be willing to agree to in the end. Just make sure you find yourself a sweet deal and lock in those benefits. Now, while all of this is going on, you're gonna wanna stay informed of all things that are happening. And the best way of keeping up to date will be to constantly be in touch. And this will give you some added edge to making new decisions much quicker. My tips to stay informed is really simple. You can do this by always ensuring you are following cruise social accounts, news forums, and websites. I will certainly have a few websites linked in the description that you can go and check out to get new guides, tips, and more. Another thing I must add is that reaching out to customer service at this time will be like trying to reach out to God himself. The reason for this is that cruise lines will be way too busy, as customer service will potentially have hundreds of other travelers to deal with. For you to even get a solid answer during a cancellation process will be much harder at this time, and the best thing you can do is to follow frequent updates. So my suggestions would be just look for new vacation arrangements in the meantime. So in the likely event when you are issued a refund, credits, or new booking arrangements, you can be sure and know what your next plan is in advance to make your booking agent aware. Once you've come to new agreements with your booking agent, you can now fully commit to your new plans, and now you can work towards your next vacation goals accordingly. In these times when a cruise line makes cancellations that are severely impacting the travel arrangements of other future passengers, you can be sure that you will receive some form of additional compensation next to what you should originally receive. So whether that is new booking arrangements, plus cruise line credits, or even up to full refunds, my advice is to still learn from this experience. But do not dwell on it, as these things can often be rare and most of the time do not happen as often as we'd like to think it does. If you haven't touched that like button yet, I implore you to do so now and leave a comment if you've been caught up in any cruise cancellations. Plus share with me below what have you done or will plan to do to get out of this situation. Also watch my next video that you will see here on the screen. It's Unique, your cruise employee, and I'm out.